What if I told you there's a card game where you're not allowed to look at your own cards? Like, at all. You hold them facing out so everyone else can see what you've got. But you're totally in the dark. And here's the wild part. It's not a trick. It's not a punishment. That is the game. And people absolutely love it. Now, most people think card games are about outsmarting the other players, right? Bluffing, hiding your hand, keeping secrets. But Hanabi flips that completely upside down. In this game, your teammates are trying to help you by giving you tiny little hints. And together, you're all trying to build something beautiful before everything falls apart. So, can a group of friends actually work together perfectly with almost no information? Can you figure out what's in your hand just from the clues people give you? And what happens when someone makes one wrong move and the whole thing blows up? Literally? Stick around, because we are breaking down exactly how to play Hanabi, step by step, super simple. And by the end of this video, you will be ready to sit down and play tonight. Okay, so first things first, what even is Hanabi? Hanabi is a cooperative card game. Cooperative. That just means everybody plays together. There's no winner and loser between the players. You're all on the same team, trying to beat the game itself. Think of it like everyone's rowing the same boat, trying not to sink. The game was designed by a French game designer named Antoine Bauza, and it came out back in 2010. And here's a fun fact. Hanabi actually won the Spiel des Jahres award in 2013. That's basically the Oscar of board games. So yeah, this little card game with a gimmick? It's legit. Oh, and Hanabi is the Japanese word for fireworks. And that's actually what you're building in this game, a fireworks show. Now here's where things get interesting, and kinda weird honestly. In Hanabi, you pick up your cards and you hold them facing outward. So the cards are pointing away from you, toward the table, toward your friends. Everyone at the table can see your cards, except you. You literally cannot look at your own hand. I know, it sounds insane, but that's the whole game, and it works so well. Hey, real quick, if you're new here, welcome. This channel, How Games Work, is all about breaking down board games, card games, party games, you name it, in the simplest way possible. No rulebook headaches, no confusion, just clear, fun explanations so you can get straight to playing. If that sounds like your kind of thing, hit that subscribe button right now and tap the like button too. It seriously helps us out more than you know. Okay, back to Hanabi. Alright, let's talk about what's actually in the box, because the setup is pretty simple. Hanabi comes with 60 cards total. The cards are divided into 5 colors: red, yellow, green, blue, and white. Each color has the same set of numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you've got cards numbered 1 through 5 in every color. Now, here's a small detail that matters a lot. There are more ones than anything else. Each color has 3 ones, 2 twos, 2 threes, 2 fours, but only 1 5. Just one. So if you accidentally throw away a 5, it's gone forever. And that's a real problem. Keep that in mind. Besides the cards, you've also got 2 other important things: clock tokens. There are 8 of them. These represent how many hints your team is allowed to give. Every time someone gives a hint, you flip one over. When they're all gone, no more hints. And fuse tokens. There are 3 of them. These are your 3 strikes. Every time someone plays a card that doesn't fit, you lose a fuse. Lose all 3? Boom. Game over. Setting up the game is quick. You shuffle all 60 cards and deal them out. If you have 2 or 3 players, everyone gets 5 cards. If you have 4 or 5 players, everyone gets 4 cards. And remember, you pick those cards up and hold them facing outward. Do not peek. Seriously, don't do it. Then set aside a space in the middle for the 5 firework piles, 1 pile per color, where you'll build from 1 up to 5. Okay, this is the heart of the game. Each turn, a player has exactly 3 choices. Just 3. You can give a hint, you can play a card, or you can discard a card. Let's break those down one at a time. Option 1. Give a hint. On your turn, you pick one other player and you tell them either a color or a number that's in their hand. And here's the rule. The hint has to be complete. You can't lie and you can't be vague. If you say, you have blue cards, you have to point to all of the blue cards in their hand, every single one. So, for example, your friend Sarah has 4 cards and 2 are red. You'd say, Sarah, these 2 cards are red, and you point to both. And giving a hint costs 1 clock token. Flip it over. If you're out of clock tokens, you literally cannot give any more hints until you get some back. And how do you get clock tokens back? By discarding, which is option 2. Discarding means you take a card from your hand and throw it away. Put it face up in a discard pile. It's gone, and you get a clock token back. Plus, you draw a new card. But here's the danger with discarding. If you accidentally throw away something important, like that only one in the whole deck 5 card, that number can never be completed for that color now. Your max score drops. It's a quiet little disaster. So discarding feels low stakes, but it can really hurt you if you're not careful. Option 3. Playing a card. This is the exciting one. You take a card from your hand and place it onto one of the firework piles in the middle. Here's how playing works. Each color pile needs to be built in order. 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. You can only add the next number in that color's sequence. If the red pile is at a 2, only a red 3 can go on it next. Throw down a red 4? Wrong. Flip a fuse token. Strike 1. And remember, you can't see your own cards. You're making this call based on hints your teammates gave you. Or sometimes you're just making an educated guess, which is thrilling and terrifying. Oh, and there's a bonus. If you complete a full color pile, meaning you successfully play 1 through 5, you actually get a clock token back. So completing a suit rewards your team with an extra hint. Nice little incentive there. It basically means the better you play, the more hints you get. The more hints you get, the better you play. It's a beautiful little loop. Okay, how does the game actually end? 3 ways. 1. You play all 25 cards perfectly. That's a perfect score, and that is legendary. 2. You blow all 3 fuse tokens. Explosion. Game over. You lose. 3. The draw pile runs out. Once the last card is drawn, everyone gets 1 final turn. After that, the game ends and you count up your score. Your score is the total of the highest cards successfully played in each color. If red made it to 4, that's 4 points. Blue only got to 2, that's 2 points. Add them all up and the max is 25. Here's how to judge your score. 0 to 5 is catastrophic. The audience boos. 6 to 10 is mediocre. 11 to 15 is honorable. 16 to 20 is excellent. 21 to 24 is amazing. And 25? That's perfection. Go celebrate. Before we wrap up, a few tips so your first game doesn't feel like total chaos. Tip 1. Establish a hand organization style before you start. A lot of groups hold their oldest cards on one end and newest cards on the other. That way, everyone knows which cards are likely safe to discard and which are important new arrivals. Tip 2. Think carefully before spending a hint. Hints are precious. Don't waste one telling someone something they already know. A great hint gives someone enough info to either safely play a card or safely discard one. It creates action. Tip 3. Don't randomly discard cards you know nothing about. If you've got no hints on a card, discarding it is risky. Try to discard cards you know are duplicates or low value. Tip 4. Watch the discard pile like a hawk. It tells you everything. If you see two twos of the same color already discarded, the third one is the last one alive, and it becomes critical to play it before it vanishes. Tip 5. If you're playing for the very first time, use just 4 colors instead of 5. Skip any rainbow or multicolor variants. Just nail the core rules first. Trust me. Here's the thing about Hanabi, and this is why it won a Game of the Year award. It's not really about the cards. It's about communication. It's about trust. It's about trying to understand each other with very limited information and still doing something great together. There's something genuinely satisfying about giving a perfectly timed hint that lets your teammate play the exact right card, or figuring out, from just 2 or 3 clues, exactly what's in your hand. It's like a team puzzle that gets tighter and more intense as the game goes on. And honestly, Hanabi is one of those rare games that makes you feel closer to the people you're playing with, because you're forced to really listen, to think about what the other person needs, and to communicate as clearly as you possibly can without breaking the rules. It's beautiful, honestly, just like a fireworks show. And that, my friends, is how you play Hanabi, the cooperative card game where you cannot see your own hand. Quick recap. Hold your cards facing out. Work together to build 5 color piles from 1 to 5. Give hints wisely. Don't blow up your fuses. And aim for that sweet, perfect score of 25. If you found this helpful, hit that like button. It genuinely helps other people find this video. And if you want to see more games explained this clearly and this simply, subscribe. We've got tons of game explainers coming. Drop a comment below. Have you played Hanabi before? What was your high score? Or tell us the next game you want us to cover. Share this with someone who needs a new game night idea. All right, go gather some friends, flip those cards outward, and may your fireworks be absolutely perfect. See you in the next one.